What is up, chat? All right. I'm getting this all set up once again here. So, like, I did this Wednesday. No. Yeah, I did this Wednesday. Where I'm currently in a master's program studying for my Master's of Accounting. And the thought process I had was, again, I'm just going to like do study sessions on stream where I don't know if I could actually share the textbook. Like, I feel like there'd be copyright issues with that. Like, if I actually went through and started showing like screenshots from the textbook, I feel like I would probably be liable to get in trouble. So we're not doing that, but it is just going to be a lot of like, hey, taking notes and talking about the actual like material that I'm studying, because I think it's interesting, but also at the same time, it kind of helps keep me focused, more or less, just because there's a lot that I want to do with this degree, and also there's a lot that I have to actively work to get a better handle on, I think is like a good way to put that. But yeah, with that, I'm gonna be eating dinner while I do this, so I apologize in advance for that. It's like the world's lamest mukbang. Alright. Though, it would be funny, I think, if I was showing like the, what is it? If I was showing like the actual like slides that my professor gave me. I think that'd be fine. I don't fully know just yet, but we'll go with it. Let's see here. Yeah. Normal latency should be fine, I guess. Any case, alright, let's move a couple things. Move OBS over here. And we'll move chat over here. Yay! It's such a messy like setup that I have going, but it is what it is. Alright. There it is. Let's get to studying. And also, if you're wondering what I'm eating, I wanted Panda Express, but also at the same time, I didn't particularly want to go buy it. And we had the Panda Express orange sauce like in our fridge, and I decided to instead buy some like chicken nuggets, buffalo chicken nuggets, and then douse that in orange sauce, or in the Panda Express orange sauce. Not gonna lie, kind of slaps. I regret only a few things. All right. That public, yes. All right. Pop up dashboard. What's that do? Huh. Weird. I don't know what that does. We're just gonna go with it. I also never fully understand why it does this where if I'm trying to monitor things in the stream, it just refuses to actually like show the correct timestamps. I don't get it. Almost done, don't move. Almost done with your study session? What are you studying? That's also what I'm gonna take that as. Alright. So I started this one, and this was for advanced accounting. How does it feel that I grew up? Alright, and we're going to report. And hide. Remove. Remove. You got time for no freaking weirdos on this chat. And he is out of here because what a freaking weirdo. Alright. So anyways, as I was saying, currently studying for my master's of accounting, and we're going through right now advanced accounting just because I have the textbook access to that, which originally I didn't, and that was annoying, but I want to be able to actually, like, you know, read the textbook and know what I need to study for. But one thing I did do was go through the PowerPoint slides, so I want to actually go through those and take my notes, which I think would probably be the best idea. Let's see here. Yeah, that works. I just decided to pop out the chat so I could actually read that while ago. Alright, but advanced accounting. Where did I leave off on? So reporting investments in corporate equity securities. I feel like, did I? Yeah, I scrolled past this one. Where is it? Alright. One thing I don't know how to do, which I think would be kind of funny, especially as I'm trying to do like these study streams where I'm just, you know, chilling and studying, would be having like some on-running lo-fi thing in the background, like the fireplace or like the lo-fi girl, which I think would be funny, but I'd want to do like a Legend of Zelda themed one, but I think that'd be pretty fun. And yes, chat, I'm having dinner. All right. So the reporting investments in corporate equity securities. There's 4 methods. So we have the fair value method, the cost method for equity securities without readily determinable fair values, consolidation of financial statements, and number 4 is the equity method. Let's see here. And so the note that they have here is, which is probably important to take into consideration. Let's move that. The method selected depends on the degree of influence the investor or stockholder has over the investee. So I'm gonna try and think of a way to word that for myself because it's easier if you are studying like for any class in general. If you're able to actually like find a way to rephrase or put in your own words whatever the statement is, it's going to be a lot easier for you to actually recall it later on for either exams or when you're actually putting it to practical use. So method selection varies based on level of stockholder influence. So method selection varies based on a level of stockholder, I'm gonna call it leverage, not necessarily like influence, because like it is the same thing, but if I'm like trying to find a way for me to word it myself, the actual statement is the method selected depends upon the degree of influence the investors stockholders has over the investee. But I can just say the method selection varies based on the level of stockholder leverage. I could say over the investee, but I don't think that part's absolutely necessary. All right, next slide. So the fair value method. Let's start in on this one. Fair value method. I feel like what I should do is I should pop out my, this is a different aside here, this is about the stream. I'm gonna pop out my horizontal chat, and then just because there's not a whole lot of stuff happening on there, so that way I can actually then keep an eye on the vertical chat. There we go. Seemed like the smarter move. All right. But the fair value method, when to use. All right, investors hold a small percentage of equity securities of investee. Investors cannot significantly affect investees' operations, and investment is made in anticipation of dividend or market appreciation. Okay, so how do I want to reword those? I'm also open to suggestions. Because fair value is also in reference to the actual market value of the stock. So if someone buys like $100 worth of Amazon, then they'd be accounting for $100 worth of Amazon type of thing. And that's at market value. So, I think that first one I might just keep the same. So when to use. Investor, also could just be stockholder. Has small percentage of equities and securities of investees. Wow, I almost misspelled equities. I would not do well on a spelling bee. I'm gonna put that out there. equity securities of investee. All right. Second one being investor could not significantly affect investee operations. So investor lacks influence on investee operations, meaning they don't have enough shares to actually do anything worthwhile. And that's what I mean by, if you're studying, try to find other ways you could like phrase it or, you know, frame what you're talking about. Let's get another piece of chicken. Also, like I said, it's weird, but it works oddly because you get that little bit of spice to it. This is just Tyson Anytizer's buffalo chicken with the orange, the orange chicken Panda Express sauce you can buy at the store. This is a good combination. Like, I'm not even gonna lie about that. There we go. What if? Hold up, what does that look like? Huh. You know? That's actually not half bad, I'm not gonna lie. I still don't know if I get in trouble for this. I don't think I would. Hopefully not. Oh, welcome to the study session, people. It's fine. I'm making my own notes. Not copyrighted. Ignore my activate Windows watermark. I'm just cheap. It's fine. And this is a small fork. Balance. Balance. I would still make a horrible mukbang streamer. Like, absolutely horrendous. Okay. Continuing. So for the fair value method, investment is made in anticipation of dividend or market appreciation. How am I going to put that in my own words to remember it? So investor anticipates dividends or appreciation. Just simplify it down, I guess. Because they're taking a stake in the company because they expect some extra benefit to come out of it. So that's kind of like the easiest way to put that. Anticipates dividend or market appreciation. There we go. Oh, but I do want to show this off. So like, I take my notes on an iPad, but I got a composition book cover for this thing just because the fact that it actually looks like a notebook, I think, is so sick and also so absolutely stupid, because I was just like, you know what, I should get a better case. And then at the same time I was like, well, I pretty much use this thing just for school and my notes and maybe like some comic reading, and it just made sense to have something that, you know, kind of fit the theme. All right, but moving on to the next slide here. Recording fair value method. So this is the recording of it. The first slide was just about the actual, here's what it is. All right, found a bite of rice. Woo. Oh, second to final bite of the scraps. All right. I'm gonna shut up a little bit and actually take better notes. So recording fair value method. Initial investments in equity securities when significant influence and control are not present are recorded at cost, adjusted to fair value if fair value is determinable. If fair value is not determinable, remains at cost. Changes in fair values are recognized as income, and dividends declared on securities are recognized as income as well. There we go. So let's put that as how to record fair value. I use my shorthand just because I don't want to have to write out equity securities over and over again. Insignificant influence. I'm just gonna say leverage again. Now the problem is, like, I know leverage also like means a couple different things within the world of accounting, so like it's just that way I can understand, hey, influence and control would in theory equal leverage in many other circumstances. So our according to cost. Adjusted to fair value if fair value is determinable. If fair value is not determinable, remaining costs. So I'll put a little extra side note. ADJ to say adjust to fair if determinable. There we go, and then hit the other one with if not, remain at cost. Pretty easy peasy little difference there. Alright, change in fair value recognizes income. So change in fair value equals income. And then dividends declared on the securities are recognized as income. Once again, we're shortening securities down to secure. Alright. Cost method, investment in equity securities without readily determinable fair values. Alright, so on to the next method, which is number 2, cost method. All right. I'm just gonna say cost method and like do like some quotation marks so I know there's actual like more to that wording. But again, I don't particularly feel like I need to write all of that down. Cost method, quotation marks. So investments in equity securities that employ the cost method continue to be reported at original cost over time. Okay. Makes sense, more or less. Oh no, my chicken. There we go. Okay. Shorthand of this. Cost method is reported at original cost over time. Easy enough. I know I got the buffalo chicken Tyson sanitizers. I think after downing a bunch of them, now I'm starting to be like, oh, there actually is a little bit of spice to that. I'm not complaining, but it's just a realization. All right, but again, shorthand being reported at original cost over time. Cool. So we got that note to start it off. Then moving on to, so Gap. If you don't know what Gap is or haven't heard of that before, and I don't mean the Gap as in the clothing brand, I mean Gap as in GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles for the nerds like us out there. Allows for 2 fair value assets that may affect cost methods reported on the financial statements. So periodic assessments for impairment are to determine if the fair value in the investment is less than its carrying amount. And then recognition of observable price changes in orderly transactions for the identical or similar investments of the same issuer as unrealized holdings, gains, or losses. That was very technical sounding. Hold up, got a snap from the cousin. We'll call it a Snapchat break.
Hi, Captain.
That's pretty good. All right. And we continue. All right, so cost method. Wow, that was a lisp. So generally accepted accounting principles allow for 2 fair value assets that may affect cost method amounts reported on the financial statement. So it comes down to GAAP allows 2 fair value assessments. Yeah. Okay. I probably should write the whole thing out. It's fine. Do a little slash here. Allows for 2 fair value assessments that may affect cost method accounts. That may affect cost method accounts. Reported on financial statements. And you know, as I like kind of go through the studying and like I kind of start this master's program, because this is only the first week of my master's program, one of the frustrating parts about this is just that I like numbers well enough, and that's fine. I think that's at least helpful that I don't like detest what I'm working on, but at the same time, I still very much so. Let me move this over. Boop. There we go. I still very much so would like to actually like have a different type of use case for this. Like my wife and I at some point in the future would love to have like our own personal bookstore. Like for us that sounds like a fantastic like small lifestyle business, and I'd be able to at least help out with the accounting portion of it and the bookkeeping. But it's just going to be a long road ahead just in terms of like the degree and then everything else in between that still has to happen. Another snap. Snap break. All right. So the 2 assessments. Recognition of observable price changes. Okay, this one's just a mouthful. So recognition of observable price changes in orderly transactions for the identical or similar investment of the same issuer as unrealized holding gains or losses. I'm not even sure how I'm gonna shorthand that or like put my own spin on that. So I would just say recognition of price changes for identical or similar investments of the same issuer as unrealized holding gains and losses. This one just reads like I should write it out in its entirety and try to just kind of make sure I understand it. Okay, we're gonna go that route. Okay. Of observable changes in orderly transactions for identical or similar investments in the same issue. All right, next. Consolidation of financial statements. This just means reports. All right. And of course, my sister and cousin are out doing karaoke. I don't do karaoke. Instead, I will study. And now that I finish eating my actual dinner, my instant brain goes to, I need a sweet treat. I'll think of that a bit more. My wife's going to be home a little bit later, so she might want ice cream. I can hold out for ice cream. Alright, so consolidation of financial statements. You know, while I should take more notes and continue to take them, this class, like, I wrote out what the actual the entire quarter looks like, and the main thing it really comes down to like homework and projects, making sure I do those. So I'm at a point where it's probably gonna be better that I just start the homework. I'm not sharing my screen on that one, but also I don't have something else I can show you guys. Because I think, do I have a full screen? Let me just, I feel like that's the full screen one. Oh, sorry. There we go. That one's full screen. I don't know. I could throw in like a little fireplace going, I guess. I feel like
wonder if I can make it focus in on just like one particular scene. Just add a scene. We'll call it lo-fi. So we got main, and then we